Alright, so this is not a typical video for me because it's a very free-form video, and usually I save my free-forms for my lives, but this is not a live video. This is just me talking, so I'm sorry. But I want to do this video because I've just been having a lot of feelings lately, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So, on my last live chat, which I did a couple of days ago, I talked about still feeling the absence of Jonghyun and how, as much as I've embraced this comeback story of Light, I still feel really weird about not having his voice on these songs. Definitely more for episode 1 than subsequent episodes. There were moments when I was like, okay, that's where Jonghyun's voice fits in, where is it? And then finally with episode 3, we get Lock You Down, which is phenomenal, and it's wonderful, and it's the best song out of all of the songs released for this particular series. And not just because Jonghyun's in it, it's actually like a song that I like the composition of. It gives me a very emotional feeling, just the way that the melody is constructed. But it felt like that was a great way to end the series, because it felt like the series was finally right. Like, it wasn't right to hear SHINee without all 5 voices, and to hear all 5 voices, the sound was complete. And so, along with just having thoughts about the music for SHINee on my mind, also just thinking of Jonghyun and thinking of all the things that he would enjoy that he's missing. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I've been thinking about different music he would have liked. I've been thinking about different comebacks that he would have enjoyed. I've been thinking about all the stuff that he's missed just in this last 7 months. Not even a full year, but just in the last 7 months, how much he's missed out on. And then I was reminded yesterday on Twitter that it has been 2 years since SHINee did their fan meet in Dallas. And I was at that fan meet. I saw SHINee twice in Dallas. I saw them for the fan meet, and I saw them for SHINee World 5. And it's a beautiful memory for me. It's one of the best nights of my life, and I have it documented here on my channel. I'll put the link down below to both the fan meet video and the SHINee World 5 video I did. But during the fan meet, I had forgotten that the question was asked, where do you see SHINee in the future? And the answer was not so much SHINee together as 5 performing, and this is weird. The answer was given by Jonghyun, and he explained like all the different activities he could see all of them doing in the future. Like, he could see Minho doing this, and he could see Key doing that, and he could see himself doing this. And 10 years in the future, he saw a future. He saw, at that time, 2 years ago, he saw himself being here 10 years later. And it hit me in a really hard way, because I'm sure you've heard it from people before, but you know, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I think about that all the time, about how, what if he didn't mean to do this? And I know that the shoulda, coulda, wouldas are a terrible thing to even contemplate in a situation like this, because nothing can change the past. But what if he had just gotten really low and had felt like this was what needed to happen? But what if, you know, maybe as it was happening, he was like, wait, I've made a terrible mistake. And I hate to think about it that way, but it's hard to escape that feeling when you see him just 2 years earlier talking about a life that extended another decade. And then today I was in my car listening to Lock You Down, and I was getting all these feelings. There's something about Lock You Down that makes me feel like a long-term relationship. Like, when I listen to the song just melodically, it feels to me like a couple who's like, okay, we just finished having an argument and we've been going through a lot of stuff lately, but at the end of the day, no matter what, I would rather be here with you than anybody else, and I've got to lock you down. Like, I don't want nobody, I just want you, even though we have these ups and downs, because even when we're at our lowest, our highest points are worth every minute of it. And thinking about that song and thinking about kind of the hopeful nature it gives me, and thinking about Jonghyun's hopeful attitude from 2 years ago, and then thinking about how everything turned out, it's just really difficult. It's just really difficult to reconcile all of these things. But I don't bring it up to have another let's be sad about Jonghyun video. That's not what this conversation is about. This actually is a conversation about you guys. I try to be accessible. I'm now on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I've told you guys before. I have an email address. You guys can drop me notes if you want to, if you need to. But thinking about all this, I just wanted to put it out there for you guys that if you're feeling some sort of way, if you're feeling like you're stuck in a position that's just not the best for you, if you're in a position that you feel like it's never going to get any better, or if you've experienced severe trauma, like something that is life-changing, I just want you to know, just like life can have extremely high moments, like times when you're just like super duper happy, when nothing could be better, it has its low moments, but it swings. Life swings. It is a pendulum. And I just really hope that you guys will understand that and you'll give the pendulum an opportunity to swing back the way it's supposed to. Don't let what's happening now and this sadness cause you to do something that's going to prevent you from seeing that pendulum swing its way back to right. And sometimes our bad times last a long time. Sometimes we're caught in a situation that is complicated to extract ourselves from, that really looks absolutely hopeless. Sometimes it's some heavy stuff. Sometimes it's trying to get over PTSD from a trauma. Sometimes it's dealing with death. Sometimes it's dealing with loss. Sometimes it's dealing with feelings of inadequacy and self-esteem issues and self-image issues. Sometimes it's our weight. Sometimes it's our health. Sometimes it's our finances. Sometimes it's our living situation. It can be all those things. All those things. But at the end of the day, you have to know it's all temporary. Just like life is temporary. The only thing that's permanent is death. And I need you guys to stick around and wait for it to get better. I need you to reach out your hands and grasp for straws of help. I need you to be here. Because at this point in my life, I have lived a life longer than the life my father lived. I've lived a life longer than people that I've gone to high school with. I've lived a life longer than a lot of young celebrities. And I still feel young. I still feel like I have so much more to look forward to. And I've seen a lot in the time between when I was Jonghyun's age and this right now. When I was Jonghyun's age, I had just given birth to a child that was stillborn. When I was Jonghyun's age, I had a toddler at the house. When I was Jonghyun's age, I was still married. So much stuff has changed, and I can't say that everything has changed for the better. I got over my grief. My toddler is now a teenager. I'm divorced. So it's been a mixed bag. But in that time, I experienced so much. In the time between I was Jonghyun's age and the time I'm my age now, I saw SHINee live in concert twice. And I built a YouTube channel. And I've made so many friends. And I've met those friends in real life. And I've moved states. I've done so much. I went to California for only the second time in my life. And that was just in this year. So you can't operate on a plane of thinking that what's now is forever. You always got to be thinking about it could change, it could be different, there is a future out there. But don't let the fear of that future or the idea that your misery will last always cause you to do something to cut this short. Because there is so much more in store that you haven't had a chance to experience, a chance to see, a chance to latch onto. And I just would hate the idea of you not getting there. I really and truly would. So that's this video. I know I look a mess. I haven't had a chance to put a good filter on here. But like I said, it was in my heart to talk to you about this. It was in my heart to say these things. And it was definitely in my heart to post it up kind of around this time. Because like I said, it's been 2 years. 2 years and a day since I first saw SHINee in person. And I remember that day thinking that Jonghyun was one of the brightest, bubbliest, just beautiful people in the world. He was so cute, he was so friendly, he was so fun, and he spoke with his entire body. Maybe it's because he's a little man, but like when they were doing charades, his entire body was engaged in the game, and he was so good and personable and just everything that you would think you'd want a celebrity to be when you finally see them in real life. But at the same time, his humanity shone through, and his excitement for what he was doing, his passion for his music. I'm not gonna lie, a year later when I saw him, he was tired, but they were all tired. Like all of them, they had really been working hard when they came back the following year, but there was still something there, still something so magical, so special, so different, and it'll never stop being a tragedy. It will never stop being a tremendous loss. It'll never stop being the what if that I'll question for years to come, because there was so much more. There was so much more, and I just don't want to have any of those questions about any of you. So please, please take care of yourself. And I'll talk with you later. Bye.